Well, we can't say we didn't warn you. You're locked on.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Before we dive into today's show, the live show, this podcast has grown a ton. We're the number one college basketball show on the Locked On Podcast Network, and it's 100% because of fans like you. As crazy as UConn fandom can be, we are proud to be the only daily podcast covering both UConn men's and women's basketball, the hoops capital of the world. And to show that gratitude, we're giving back. We're donating 10% of our revenue to Husky Ticket Project, helping send kids to UConn games in underserved communities. If you're enjoying the show, take a moment to subscribe, follow, leave a review wherever you listen. Thanks again for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right. You can't say this podcast didn't warn you about this road game against Villanova. The Huskies suffered a narrow 68-66 defeat to Villanova in Finneran Arena, on campus. Intense Big East battle. Unfortunately, one of our clutch leaders, two-time national champion Alex Karaban, missed two crucial free throws in the closing moments, denying the Huskies a chance to take the lead when it was 67-66. Despite an impressive shooting night overall by the Huskies, it was really about UConn's turnovers and to a certain extent some of their defense. But I thought defense tonight was not the issue. It was lack of efficiency, lack of getting clutch shots. Like there were too many lulls, and I think that's been the biggest issue with this team all year. You allow a team like Villanova, who, I give them credit, they had some moments. Eric Dixon's probably one of the top 5 or 6 players in the country. Uga Poplar is a fantastic, ISO player who had a good game. Even Brickus had a good game. But for the most part, this really wasn't. This felt like a game that we should have won. And I know there was a lot of doom and gloom with a lot of like UConn chats. And I mean, one of the things I have on here before I get Tyler in here, and then I'll get other people in the chat, is just take a quick moment and look at these stats. UConn, 54% from the floor. They made 10 threes. They shot just under 40%. They held Villanova to only 8 threes, 40%. They made only 2 free throws. Alex missed 2 free throws. They out-rebound Villanova 32-23. So for all of us who are like, oh, man, our guards don't rebound, we're terrible, blah, blah, blah. We out-rebounded them by 9 points, by 9 plus 9. Also, we out-rebounded them on the offensive side by 1, and defensively, we're out-rebounding them by 8 points. Assist for us to them is 23-11. The only two stats that matter in this game are total turnovers, 13 for us, 6 for Villanova. And the amount of turnover points that turned into turnovers for Villanova was 15. Points in the paint, even. Fouls were crazy. They're about the same. No techs. The largest lead of the game was 12 for Villanova. So this team will not lose any points in the Ken Palm in terms of offensive efficiency. And I honestly think they may even get a couple of points ahead on the defensive side because I didn't think it was that bad. It was these stretches where they kind of just lost their way and turned the ball over. Guys were cutting when other guys thought they were going to be there. So the staff is going to have to go back to the drawing board and really try to focus on tightening up these offensive sets, because when things are going well, it looks great. There was a stretch where they scored 23 points in like a 6-minute stretch. It was sick. So it's there. It's right there in front of us. But I do think that there are some glaring issues And it really just comes down to mental capacity, the ability to read the situation. And, unfortunate. We could have walked away with a win. But a part of me is actually not glad, but the coach in me is glad, because when you win this game, if Alex makes those 2 free throws and then they, miss a last second shot, we win by 1 and we walk away and everyone's happy. Oh, yeah, 9-game win streak. We're undefeated in the Big East, blah, 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 blah. You start to kind of like lose sight of some of the, at least the players do, I think. Then you start to lose a little sight of how much work is needed to be done with this team. So anyway, I'm going to bring Tyler in, then I'm going to open it up to the chat. Tyler, what's up, brother? We can hear you. You gotta unmute your mic.
What's going on?
How we doing, man?
Good. From a pure basketball standpoint, I thought that was a pretty exciting game. Obviously, we wish the outcome was different.
Right.
Alex missing those last 2 at the end. I mean, that sucks, but in all honesty, it looked like he got blocked. So it looked like, the refs kind of missed that one. So just kind of the way it goes. This is UConn's 4th loss, their 3rd loss by 3 or less points, I think, right? They lost to Memphis by 1. They lost to Colorado by 2 or 3. And they lost this game by 2. So, 3 of their 4 losses, are these games can go either way, right? You make a shot here, other team misses a shot. It's a totally different outcome. Jaden Ross still looks kiddish, like waiting for him to just like settle in. He just looks so uncomfortable out there. Aiden still, when he has to make that pass to the wing, he like struggled. That one he tried to make a pass to Solo and it got knocked out of bounds. Not that big of a deal because UConn gets the ball back, but like it's such a struggle for him just to make that entry pass to the wing. I thought Haas was awesome. Sampson and Terrace both kind of had struggled with fouls. We haven't seen that in a few games, so that was back. Turnovers. I thought Stewart was amazing. I think I expect to see more minutes from him going forward, just because I thought he played tremendous defense on Dixon. He used his
Absolutely.
length. He doesn't try to block shots. He doesn't try to go to steals. He just plays solid defense. And I wish Sampson did more of that. I wish Jaden Ross did more of that. Solo was kind of dead in the first half, but then that dude can just light it up. His footwork is insane. So he kind of got hot. But yeah, like you said, there isn't like something that jumped out to me. Like,
no, there isn't. Like, and that's the thing, Tyler. Like, I'm like listening. I'm reading the chat. I'm looking at things online, because I always like to like take the temperature of the fan base. And sometimes, honestly, guys, like I need to step away from this fan base because I love you guys, but we are some of the most doom and gloom people I've ever met in my life, or not met in my life. Because listen, this is a team that lost 1 million people to the NBA. They are literally 12-4 now, 4-1 in the Big East. They're going to drop out of the top 10. They'll probably be like 13th or 14th in the AP. Who cares? They're doing this without Liam McNeely, a 5-star freshman. Jalen Stewart. Think about how this game started. I thought we were going to win this game by double digits. When Jay Stu came out and gave me 10 points in the first 3 minutes of the game and made that quick pass to Alex, it was nothing.
Nice. Yeah.
The dude knows what he's doing. So hopefully what the takeaway you can get from this game is that we essentially found out that Jay Stu should be playing more minutes, right? Mm-hmm. We can agree on that. And the other takeaway is that our defense, while still a liability, isn't as bad as what we thought. We still are kind of really trying to find ourselves there. But Terrace played well on the defensive side, blocking some big shots. Samson's foul is still too much. But even though Solo gets beat on a ton of plays, he tried really hard. He bodied up guys. Aiden Mahaney played really good defense tonight. Jay Stu played great defense tonight. Jay Ross, still skittish. I'm with you on that. But again, I saw Ahmad Noel play some minutes today. So I liked the takeaway from this for me is I like the direction that Dan is taking this team right now, because he doesn't really have as much as Dan is out right now because he's got a sore throat and stuff like that. So he's not going to jump on the show tonight. Although I love Dan and I love how he dives into these stats. Although I do disagree with some of his takes from the past, which are Danny is trying to like solidify like 7 or 8 guys. I don't think that's the case, man. Like, I think it's wide open. I think this showed it. I think this tonight showed it, and even more, even when Liam comes back. Could you imagine a lineup right now with Liam and Stewie in it at the same time? Like, how versatile does that make us?
We haven't seen that, though. We haven't seen him go.
I know.
We haven't seen him go. He's been very committed to these guards. We haven't seen him go like,
But he will, though.
Yeah, we haven't seen like a trio of like Liam, Ross, and Karaban, or Liam, Karaban, and Stewie. We haven't seen that often. The 3 wings with a big and a guard. But no, yeah. To that point, I think eventually, like once the tournament comes down, he's gonna, the bench's gonna get much shorter to 7, 8 guys come the tournament. But no, I don't think that he's doing that now. I think very much. I don't think Hurley's upset with the result of this game. Obviously, this hurts for your seeding in March. Obviously, you want W's. I imagine the committee considers like how close games are. I would think, but ultimately, this is gonna like wins is how you get better seeds. But ultimately, like Dan Hurley knows that these games are going to be a struggle. This is like 1 step back to take 2-3 steps forward, and I think that's like with Liam being out. I think this is the best thing for this team, because imagine if Liam was healthy for this game, he would have played 35 minutes probably, right? And that would have been like no minutes for everyone else. And so like I do think that this is very good, because they don't really have, up until Liam's injury, we knew which 6 guys were playing, right? We knew it was going to be the starting 5 with Terrace coming in for Sampson, and you never really knew how who was going to be involved between like Aiden, Stewie, and Ross, right? So now those 3 guys are getting a lot more minutes, and I think like this is going to give Dan a lot better idea of how to deploy these guys with matchups.
I have to go into the chat here, and I'll get Bernie in here in a second. Bernie, you better not come in here guns blazing, dude. You better chill, because this is not a bad loss. This is such a great comment right here. When are we going to give our team the benefit of the doubt? 7 championships, 10 championships, same conversation every day. We need to relax. Yeah. I agree with you, Charles D, 1,000%. I am so like, I've had it up to here. I've lost all of my hair, as you can see, with the amount of people that are so frustrated with this team. Did you not watch the last 2 years? Did you not get enough enjoyment from the back-to-back national championship UConn Huskies? Do you not get enough enjoyment from the fact that we got the number 1 or 2 recruiting class in the country next year? Chill the F out and relax. 1,000%. Shannon, even Dan Hurley under UConn has on a 6-game losing streak to January. Yes. And he won a national championship this year. So who gives a rip? Also, let's go into this. Let's get my boy Steven in here. Where is he? I'm sorry. I'm getting a little wild here. We are spoiled, y'all. This is part of the process. Thank you, Steven. You are always the voice of reason. I agree with you 1,000%. Christopher, I agree with you. This team leads Liam. Big time is a big time or exaggeration. I do think he is missed, but I think you need to relax, because some of your takes are a little hot. I think you need to be on first take. All right, Bernie, let's get you in here. What you got, brother?
What would you think I'd be getting emotional and upset? I'm not emotional upset at all. I really am not. I'm not.
All right. Just checking.
I think, okay, it's time to be brutally honest to UConn fans, all UConn fans. I've been a UConn fan for over 40 years. Enough. Stop. Stop with the doom and gloom. It's 1 game. Yes, we lost. 68-66. We had a chance to win. Yes. Listen, Alex Karaban is still one of the best players that has ever played in a UConn jersey. Okay? He will always be. He made clutch shot after clutch shot the last 3 years. And then suddenly we're going to bash him because he missed 2 free throws.
He had a clutch shot tonight.
He had a clutch shot tonight. Exactly. Yeah. He had clutch shots against Providence. He had clutch shots.
Time out. The AK misses on the 2 free throws are bad. But what I will say is I will 100% always give him the benefit of the doubt. What I won't do is I will not give him the benefit of the doubt, or anybody, because he played like dog shit on defense against Providence and was a little bit better today. So, look, there are things you can criticize people about their play. What I don't want people to criticize and lose their minds about is the sky is falling because we lost to Villanova on the road. Guys, we weren't favored. We were a 1.5 point or 2 point underdog going into this game. So essentially, we like covered the spread, if you will, but we were supposed to lose this game according to the powers that be. And guess what? We did, because that Villanova team with one of the best players in the country played really well against us tonight. We still should have won, but bottom line is we lost.
Tennessee got blown out of the water last night.
They lost by 40 to Florida.
Yeah,
and we're worried about a 2-point loss to Villanova on the road.
Yeah, so I think we're used to, like, the last 2 years have been incredibly dominant. I think fans are just impatient, but you got to enjoy the process, enjoy the development. All the teams that are good this year, even this Villanova team, how many seniors do they have? A lot of the guys that
6.
Key players.
All of them that started tonight were all seniors.
Yeah, so like, really, like, you have to realize when you're a senior, you're 22. This is like the last COVID year. So these guys are 22, 23, Solo, Stewie, and Ross, and Liam. These guys are, 18, 19 years old. That's a huge difference at that age, right? In the NBA, 4 years doesn't matter. But when you're still, in your late teens, early 20s, 4 years is a lot. So I think, it's just this is a growing year, developing year for UConn, and they're only going to get better. And March is what we care about. And you just got to trust the process.
You see, that's exactly what I was going to bring. I was going to bring up that point. Okay, we're in January. We just started the January, okay? We got a lot of basketball to go before we get to anywhere talking about the Big East tournament or the NCAA tournament or whatever. There's a lot of games left to play. Yes, we lost tonight. We're not going to win every single game. That's not how the Big East is this year. The Big East, everybody is beatable. Yes, Marquette came back and beat Georgetown yesterday, but they're beatable. Every team. There is no single team in college basketball. I put this in the chat. There is no team in college basketball this year that is dominant. Not a single one. Like Tyler said, Tennessee lost by over 30 points to Florida on the road. Kentucky lost to Georgia on the road. Like I said on Sunday when we were talking about Providence, it is always difficult to win on the road. Always difficult. It's not easy to go on another team's home court and win games. It's never easy. They always will step up and defend their home court. That's why when you win on the road, it's so huge in terms of seeding. Now, it's one loss. They're 4-1 in Big East play. Season's not over yet, everybody. There's still a lot of games to go. So all I'm saying, and again, as you hear my voice, I'm not screaming, I'm not hollering, I'm not carrying on. Actually, I'm pretty calm tonight.
I think you have a resting heart rate of like 37 right now, Bernie.
Right now, I have a resting heart rate of 553,000. But hey, that's just me. But anyway, no, but like I said, I'm calm about this because you know what? I'm not going to be upset. They fought back. They were down 12. They came back, took the lead. Solo Ball was fantastic tonight. He was shooting threes all over the place, was making shots. And yes, Karaban clanked 2 free throws. But again, we as UConn fans have been so spoiled rotten the last 2 years, winning back-to-back national championships, that we expected this team would just follow suit like the last 2 teams did. Don't forget, the 2022-2023 team lost 9 games. 9 games. They all were in the Big East. All 9 losses were in the Big East. And what did we do? What happened at the end of the year? We won the national championship. We lost 3 games last season. What happened at the end? We won the national championship. And that was including an over 20-point loss to Creighton.
Absolutely.
At Creighton.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what happens now. Like, I had a buddy of mine who texted me, and Bernie, you'll appreciate this. I think Tyler's old enough to remember this. He said, "Oh man, this reminds me of 1994 Danielle Marshall in the Sweet 16." And
yes.
I wrote back, "LOL, are you serious? It's January 8th, not the Sweet 16. What are you talking about?" So my point is this. First off, 2 things. Number 1, Eric Dixon is a good player. The people in the chat who are calling him LeBron, I don't want you to be on the stream anymore. Like, my brain is about to explode. The dude is a great college player. He's also going to be a 2nd round NBA pick because he's about. Yep. Do you guys remember Coming to America? The dude's 135 years old. I mean, like that. Eric Dixon is 135 years old. Like, that dude is nasty, but it's because of his experience. And like, don't give me this like he's the truth crap. The dude's never won even like a Big East Player of the Year. He's in his 6th season. 6. Can we stop? He's a great player, but he didn't dominate us tonight. We actually handled him to a certain extent, and we only gave up 68 points tonight. The defense was good. We didn't play a complete game. We turned the ball over. That's why we lost. It wasn't because of Eric Dixon. Chill the F out.
No, anyway. I agree. I totally agree. And, I saw that in chat too, that somebody was saying about, that Karaban turned into Danielle Marshall. And I'm like, come on. I mean, give the kid a break. I mean, what happened with Danielle Marshall happened in the NCAA tournament. And that, to me, was more devastating than anything else because they were the favorite to get to the Final Four that year. This is a January game. It's only the 5th game in the Big East. They got 15 more games to go in the Big East Conference, and they can just sweep through those games. I mean, there's going to be some very difficult games, and they'll get McNeely back before February, and that's when the games start really mattering is in February and March, Absolutely. Not in January.
Yeah.
And people just need to just, take a deep breath, relax. We're fine.
I agree with Kara on this because, and this is, I don't even think this is a ref issue. To me, the free throw disparity tonight was pretty rough because I'm gonna give Alex one pass on missing those 2 free throws. Did he shoot any free throws up until that point?
No,
no one did on UConn. There were 2 of 2 going into that free throw attempt from Alex, and he missed those 2, and we were 2 of 4 from the night.
Yeah.
And thank you, Robert Schwartz. This was Eric Dixon's line: 6 for 20 from the field, and only got 1 rebound. He did not dominate us tonight. This game was we played. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, I thought they played Dixon very well. I think what kind of stands out with Dixon is it seemed like he did get them buckets when they needed it.
Sure,
right?
absolutely, some clutch shots.
He's a tremendous player, but I thought UConn actually handled him really well. He hit all his points at the free throw line. He had 9 points from not all of them. But he had 9 points from the free throw line, 2 threes. So that's 15 of his 23 points. He went 6 for 20 from the field. I thought UConn played him very well. Stewie did amazing on him.
Well, the one thing that ticked me off, and there is something that ticked me off, was at the end of the game when the time went out and UConn missed the last shot at the buzzer and stuff like that, was Villanova players pumping up their chests and giving themselves chest bumps at the end of the game. You almost lost the game. If Karaban hits both free throws, your ass is cooked. Okay, you're done. You lose by a point. There should be no chest pumping. Yeah, they played well. But for them to be chest bumping each other, thinking they won this game by double digits or something like that is laughable at best. It's a freaking joke. And that ticks me off more than anything else. When all these teams, chest bump themselves when they win by a point or 2 points, it's like, dude, you won by 2 points. You didn't win by 30 or 40 points. Get it together. Get your act together and start using your brain. It just ticks me off. But anyway, well, Saturday, what is Georgetown is Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
We got Georgetown coming up. Everybody's saying Georgetown is this much improved team.
They are.
They're a very improved team. Yeah, they should have beaten Marquette. They didn't beat Marquette yesterday. They should have beaten them. They were up by 9 at halftime, and the Marquette just rolled them over. They didn't have Epps in that game. Do you know if Epps is playing on Saturday? Because if Epps is out, that's a huge thing for Georgetown because that sort of matches up with McNeely being out for us and Epps being out for Georgetown because they don't have that premier star player that Epps is. So hopefully if Epps is out, that sort of evens it up the matchup a little bit.
I will tell you this because Tyler's going to the game. I don't want to throw Tyler's business out there, but I do want to say because of how crazy our fan base is, I'm going to give Steven Kasame a huge shout out today because my dude down here, he lives close to me. I'm in Greensboro. He's in Raleigh, and he shot me a text and was like, "Hey, I have 2 extra tickets to DC because my wife and I are going, and I want to show some goodwill and give it to your audience and or someone that works for you or contributes for you if they're close." And the first person that came to mind was Tyler because Tyler lives outside of DC, 30 minutes outside of DC. So I was like, So I text Tyler today. He got those tickets, so he's going to be there. Rooting the Huskies on. I think you're actually in the Georgetown section, so you can talk a bunch of sheep.
Oh, poor guy, poor guy.
I know, but he's close. They're good tickets, dude.
I'm sure the other person will enjoy your company.
Tickets.
Yeah, no, it's cool though. So what I'm saying is our fan base may be schizophrenic, they may be doom and gloom, but they are generous and they are.
Honestly, I hope one day that I get a chance to go and see a UConn game live. Like I said, I've watched them on TV and everything else like that. And I follow them everywhere, but I've never been to a UConn basketball game in my life.
Are you in Connecticut or no? I never asked you that.
Yes, I'm in Connecticut. Actually, I live right close to the XL Center.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope one day. But I checked the ticket prices, so like $150, $160. Right. And I'm like, I don't have that much money, Do they accept EBT? So
they do. I think they do. I think you actually, if you go to Will Call and show your EBT card, they give you.
Do they take smoke detectors?
Yes, absolutely. Bernie, do me a favor because I'm going to get Steven here.
Okay.
Bernie, email me lockedonucon@gmail.com. All right.
I will. And gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. And we'll see Georgetown. And hopefully, Dan gets better. Hope his throat gets better because, I haven't been feeling that great myself. So everybody feel better and everybody cheer up. Next game up.
Absolutely. All right, Bernie, take care, brother. All right, Steve, come to the table here. Let's remove Bernie. Steve, I got you, buddy. What you got?
It was a disappointing loss, but like I said in the chat, they can grow from this.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I think to me the takeaways are just you just got to clean up turnovers, man. It's close. There's no glaring issues. Tyler, did you see one thing out there that you were maybe Jay Ross, but outside of that, I thought he played average.
No, I thought no, I mean it was a good game. I think they have obviously the foul has been the foul not necessarily just fouling, but just the foul disparity has been a consistent thing throughout the year. They only got the free throw line 4 times, and two of those free throws were at the last second with Alex, right? And I kind of think he got blocked on that. I think UConn got lucky with that call. So really, if you take that away, they only took 2 free throws to Villanova's 13. So it's not like Villanova got a ton of free throws. But you need to be in the double digits in free throws. You need to be getting 10 to 20 free throws a game, and they're just not taking it to the 10. And then the turnovers. They had more turnovers than they typically do. They're one of the lowest turnover teams in the country. I think they average 8 or 9. Today they had 13. But dude, they had 23 assists on 27 made baskets.
Yeah.
And everyone contributed on the boards. No, their highest rebounder was Sampson, Solo, and Haas all had 4. Then Alex, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross, and Terry Street all had 3. So you had seven guys all getting after the boards. I think, the result stinks, but I really do think this is one step back to take multiple steps forward. I think it's possible they lose on Saturday to Georgetown. I think that's going to be a tough game on the road. I hope they win. I think they can win. You don't think so? I know. I think they can win, but I think Georgetown's going to be a tougher team because they're pretty long. And without Liam, we're not as long as, I guess if Stewie starts, then we're just as long. But yeah, we just don't have the height off the bench that Georgetown does.
Tyler, you know what that reminded me of? And then I'm going to go to UConn Bobby. Steve, thank you for jumping on really quick. If you guys are Braveheart fans, he said, we got to make spears. Long as a man. Some men are longer than others. You just made me think of that. Great Braveheart reference. Never heard from UConn Bobby. Let's go. UConn Bobby, you're in. Gotta unmute your mic, brother.
Hey guys.
What's up, brother?
I'm out in Alexandria, Virginia.
Ooh, okay. That's Tyler's neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a great game. I don't know if you can hear me. I think I'm having some connectivity issues.
Oh yeah, no, we hear you.
All right. Great game for Stewie. I had my Caron Butler jersey on, number 3 for Stewie, and he stewed it up for us. obviously disappointing result, but I thought the guys fought. I always think that about our teams. I just love the fight, and
Yep.
this is just another team in that tradition. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for the podcast, guys. I like the podcast.
All right, Bobby. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
All the best. All right. Real quick, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll close out the show. We'll give you guys another chance if you want to pop on. William, great point. Three of the UConn losses are a total of 5 points. It's pretty wild. Put some perspective on that. We'll talk about a few more things. What's next after the break? All right. Rocket Money. Let's get to, where's my ad copy for this? There it is. All right. Rocket Money. If you guys don't know what it is, it's if you have any subscriptions that maybe you forgot about, this is essentially like similar to like when you join the gym and then you forget about the gym membership and they just keep charging you every month. What Rocket Money does is they do that for your financial institution. So if any subscription, I can't name them off the bat, whether it's streaming services, some people have stuff where they deliver groceries. It makes it easy to track them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. So right now, Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions. 500 million. And it saves members close to $800 a year when using all the app's premium features. So for me, I've done it before. Obviously, we get a chance to try it out, but it's amazing. You got to trust me on this. There were like 3 or 4 subscriptions. I was like, there's no way I have that. And it saved me like $60-$70 a month. You add that up over, course of a year, that's, $300, $400, $500, $600. So it helps you put aside money for the future, whether you're planning for retirement or just essentially budgeting for a vacation. So you get to cancel your unwanted subscriptions, reach your financial goals. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. Go check it out. rocketmoney.com/locked on today. Check out rocketmoney.com/locked on. You won't regret it. All right, we're back on Locked On UConn with your host, Mark Zanetto, here with Tyler Remick. All right, guys, last segment of the program. If anyone else wants to jump in and kind of give their thoughts, feel free. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time. We've had a lot of engagement. We got over 100 people listening to the show, which is great. I want anybody that knows me knows how competitive I am. My wife had to give me a look tonight to calm me down, and I sat down and I sat there and watched UConn come back. And I truly believed that they were going to win this game when they went on that 13-2 run and they took the lead. It felt like the tide was turning, as Dan said in his huddle. Turnovers, untimely. I'll give you a great example. We're up 2. Actually, it was tied, and Solo got a wide open look and missed it. And then Eric Dixon hit a 3 right after that. So,
and you had that one turnover by Terrace. Who was he throwing it to? Stewie or Solo? Or Stewie?
I think it was Stewie that was diving to the hoop. And he thought he was going to stay on the wing. So there was just some stuff that needed to be cleaned up, and it was not the cleanest game. We almost won it. It sucks. There are no almost. There's no moral victories. It's an L. It's always going to be an L. But I do believe the team got better tonight. And I think that's something that they can build off of. Tyler, last thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, they were down big to Providence. They came back, won that game. They were down big to Memphis, came back, almost tied that up. Dan Hurley had the tech. I mean, they lost that game close. They were down big to Villanova, down 14. They came back, and then they were down again. They were down by 6. With 2 minutes left, and they rallied back to make it, a one possession game, and Alex missed 2 free throws. There's been no the Dayton game they got worked, but that was back to back and one trip in Maui. They couldn't correct anything, and then Colorado was just a bad game. That was a bad loss, but they only lost that game by 3. So there really isn't. This is just the grind. This is exactly what Dan Hurley's been saying, is that it's not gonna be like last year. It's gonna be good.
No, you keep going. You're right. I think I do think this is a grind, and I don't think that It does suck, and this is why I put this chat up here, because this comment from Robert, which is, don't want them to have to dig out of a hole, in Georgetown on Saturday, and I don't think we will. I think it's going to be a close game initially, but I think UConn will pull away, because as I told my guy Steven here, who hooked you up with tickets, is you know how hard it is for a team that's on the come up to play 2 top 10 teams and play them solid back-to-back nights. I know they're not playing back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games. Like, so they gotta go from Marquette. They gotta travel back to Milwaukee. They're probably now they're in the DC area. They're probably practicing a little bit today, maybe shoot around. Tomorrow they're practicing. Now they have to turn around and talk about UConn for the next how many days? 3 days? Cool. But
UConn coming off a loss. Yeah.
You're coming off a loss, so you're pissed.
Yeah.
But on top of it, Georgetown is not better than Villanova. Christopher, you are insane. They may be more talented. They may have more talent, but that is a senior-laden Villanova team that, if they continue to win games, is going to make noise in this season, because that's a huge springboard for them to beat UConn tonight. They shouldn't have won, but they did. Don't give me that crap, dude. Like, I'm not gonna tolerate that. Like, Georgetown is not better than Villanova, and they haven't been for a long time. Georgetown has to prove to me that they can actually win a game that is quality. They haven't beat anybody. Nobody. Go look at their non-conference.
Yeah, I'm looking now.
And I don't know if it was Goodman or Jeff or Parrish. They were saying, like, Cooley is probably going to be pissed off when he doesn't get in the tournament this year, because he didn't play anybody in the non-conference. Yeah. They played all like sub 300 plus.
Their best win is Syracuse, and Syracuse isn't good this year. Oh, they beat Creighton.
But Creighton's terrible this year.
Yeah,
according to the metrics.
Yeah,
like you can't.
They're very soft. They play my alma mater, UAlbany. Very soft out of conference schedule.
Yeah, in what world is Georgetown any better than Villanova? It's just not happening.
No, but I think, like, we've heard Dan Hurley say this, like, they're going to be playing close games this year. They're going to take losses. It's not going to be like the last 2, and we're witnessing that. But then the whole fan base is still impatient. But, like, this is it. They're going to be playing.
What did I say up here? Coach has been saying this. We need to start listening.
Yeah.
Coach has been telling us, you need to be patient. You need to have grace. You need to understand that this is all a process. You said it earlier, Tyler. Enjoy the process. Some of these guys aren't going to be here next year.
Yeah.
Whether they go to the pros, they could transfer, whatever. Just enjoy it. Like, I found myself getting pissed off when they were down 12 points. And like I said, I sat down on the couch and I enjoyed the last probably 12, 13 minutes of the game. And I probably should have been able to enjoy all 40 minutes. But I get myself too hyped up like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to have that same perspective. Like, because it's just, covering it or being a fan of it, whatever it is, it's just unfortunate that we get so wrapped up in the winning that we don't actually enjoy like what we're seeing.
Yeah,
because
the maturity and the growth of the players.
Yeah.
Yeah. Admittedly, I really thought that UConn was going to come into the season and just keep it rolling, because I really thought Hurley had this amazing system you can just plug and play, and that was so dead wrong. It was so unfair to these players to expect that they're just going to come in and be as good as like the seniors that we had last year. And it's also so unfair to like basically discrediting this, the last 2 teams we had and how amazing they were. They can still win it all. They have the pieces to win 6 games in March. But we just got to realize over the next 15 games or however many they have left, 15, 18 games, it's going to be a process of getting there. So we just need to see them building and getting better, over the next 15 to 18 games.
1,000%.
And then ultimately, Hurley's not done. Hurley's not done. There's more titles to be had.
Please, man. Oh God, dude, Davo. I would let that dude come at me. If he wants to come on the show, feel free, because that dude is a clown. Like, if he wants to come on with like full dress, like he's going to a circus, I'm happy to have that dude on, because I don't know if you're familiar with that, Tyler. He's the one who, when Terrace Reed transferred to UConn,
Oh,
he called him
Sleepers Media.
Yeah,
he
he called him
saying
the dumbest player he's ever seen, and like questioned Dan Hurley's ability to judge talent, and it was just like, okay, bud.
I've heard Greg on Sleepers. Yeah, he was very down on Terrace. Yeah, he's been.
I mean, nobody could be more wrong, and like most of us, like myself included, he was very high on Aiden, who I thought played well tonight. But anyway, look, I'm going to close this show tonight. I really do feel like this team is still a very formidable team. Like you said, they 100% are still a national championship contender. And at this point, all you got to do is don't let us make a Final Four, because if that happens, we win it. Bottom line. So that's all I have to say. Tyler, I'll give you last word, and then we'll call it a night.
No, I think this is one step back, and we're going to take 3 steps forward. Let's go on a Saturday. March on.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the game. I'm sure we'll definitely talk before then, but I'm so happy that we were able to get some tickets for you to go and cheer on the Huskies. I want to see some pictures. You better send me some. And
thank you, Steve.
Yep, Steve, way to hook it up. All right, guys, this has been another episode of Locked On UConn. I'm your host, Mark Zanetto. We have Tyler Remick here with us tonight. Really appreciate you, Bernie, and everybody else that jumped in. UConn, Bobby. We had Steve on. I believe that's it. Not a lot of people puffing their chests out tonight with the UConn loss, but that's okay. I appreciate it no matter what. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.